Hey everybody, this is Khara. I have my two wonderful colleagues with me again today. We have another topic to talk about today, which is how to take some time off. So relevant right now. We're feeling the burnout. I talk about this all the time. Alex and Liliana have actually figured out their own secret sauce to make this possible. So we're going to learn from their experience and give you a couple concrete tips here along the way. Who wants to jump in and go first, guys?
I was like, wait, we came up with the secret sauce?
Yeah, I think you have. That's why we're sharing it.
Oh, yes. Alex, you want to start?
Sure. Around this time, especially around the pandemic, one of the biggest things we notice is that it's very hard for us to disconnect, to reconnect with ourselves. And I think one of the biggest challenges we've had is one of my biggest challenges is the fact that I love to travel. And so around the pandemic, I had probably like 7 trips that were canceled, and that pretty much challenged me to look for different venues or different ways to really disconnect. And one of the things that I absolutely love to do is self-growth. And so for me, it has been to go into research, go into things that really feed my soul, feed my core. And so I call it delicious reads. When I find books or I find things that really feed my soul. And I notice that the more I've been doing that and doing my own personal growth, it's really helped me become a better clinician. So I found a new creative way. Not that I didn't do it before. I think this time it just became much more intentional, like we talked in the previous video. I'm going to go to the bookstore and I'm going to be intentional about what resonates with me. I'm going to read the back of the books and spend an hour or two in a bookstore and looking at what brings me joy, what makes me laugh, what makes me more interested, whether it be shadow work, whether it be dreams, whether it be the subconscious imprints in the mind, hypnosis, whether it be Jung, whether it be depth, whether it be play, whatever it is, I'm going to go and explore it because I can and spend that time doing so and not feel guilty, pissed off, and angry at myself for not doing other things, but doing it because it feeds my soul. And then the other one is vegging out, being able to just, when are you going to have time to, being able to set those boundaries within my time frame. I have my office space in my house, and that's when I'm in my office space, that's on. I'm on. And then when I'm done, when I leave the room, I shut the door, I'm off, and I don't take the laptop with me. I do not take the iPad. I will admit it's a challenge to stay off the cell phone email.
That's right.
you guys you guys know that. It's like, what are you doing? But I know that when I step outside of my office, I'm done. I'm not gonna go, I'm not zooming, I'm not on, I'm done. And so being able to set those boundaries and then do things that really feed your heart and soul. And then I think some of you guys also saw cooking. I forgot how much I love to cook. I'm blessed to have an awesome husband who loves to cook and bake as well and has the time to do it. But around this time, I really started cooking and baking and making homemade tortillas, making, pupusas, making, taking that time to really explore the kitchen and really, and feed, feed friends, feed my loved ones. And even though I don't know how to cook for 2 people, because I'm used to cooking for 15, 20, we have a lot of leftovers, but I just find different ways that really feed your soul. So for me, it's been the delicious reads, vegging out, watching sometimes Netflix. I absolutely love certain series that come up that remind me of my culture, remind me of things that really feed my heart and soul, and then doing, setting those boundaries as well. So obviously, those are the top 3 for me of nourishment, mentally, emotionally, and within my 5 domains: mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And so that's what's worked for me. I don't know for you, Liliana.
I think for me, and I think for a lot of us, I noticed, yes, the pandemic brought it up, period. But I didn't know that since I started private practice, I was so focused on growing, making a name, that I didn't know how to disconnect because of the fear of scarcity, because of the fear. So what happened last year is that, same as Alex, It was just too much, and I was missing traveling. But for me, it was traveling for trainings. I love going to places by myself and meeting new people and learning new content. So that was so hard. So same as Alex, what I did is I turned into reading to learn, reading to escape, reading to validate, right? Like, so one of the latest book that I went and review again was I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. And for me, it was like, please tell me that. But cooking has been huge, baking, having dates with my husband, with my kids. Like last night, like, let's go for ice cream. And they was just doing a quick check-in and being together, being present. I love cleaning. And I think that's part of that, which is insane, I know, when I share that with people. But cleaning and ironing clothes, that brings me, that's relaxing for me, which a lot of people don't understand. But in that moment, I cannot focus on my phone. I cannot focus on anything else. I have to be present, because if not, I'll burn my clothes. So let's be real, right? It's the same thing with cooking or with baking. But also, one of the things that I noticed is that I really enjoy connecting with peer groups. So like connecting with you too, connecting with others, talking, laughing, validating what we're going through, not being professional on those support groups because we're just laughing in that moment. And what I noticed is that since COVID, what I was really intentional is not to be isolated. That even if I had to do it through Zoom, through phone calls, through text, like we were sharing memes, we were sharing jokes, we were sharing like stuff. The other thing that came out in order for me to learn how to reconnect with myself was saying no. Not to clients, not to new clients, not to projects. And that was huge, because if everyone knows me, I'm on it. Like, tell me and let's jump in. Right. So saying no, that was huge. And then focusing on walks. And I love that my family was like, can I walk with you? I was like, no, this is my time. So just walking with my dog, right? Which I'm sorry, because he's coming this way and you can hear the bell. But even just walking with him, right? So that I can be present and notice what was happening in my body. What were the thoughts or the negative cognitions that were coming in? If I feel present and connected or not. And if I didn't, in that moment, I can choose to call someone or to text someone or do anything. So what I realized is that I became more focused. I became more present. I started to smiling more because I was doing things that I enjoy, such as cooking, because I was nurturing myself and then nurturing my family. And there's something about us, Alex, right? Coming from a Latino family, that we can never cook for one or two. There's always so much. So that we have so much food in our fridge. Like we're preparing for, like, I don't know, a pandemic.
Abundance. Everyone can eat.
Yes, right? And then sharing. So yeah, I noticed that again, reading, cooking, baking, walking, that was huge. And then connecting with other colleagues.
Love that. And I resonate with both those things of reading and walking. I'm not a cook, so I'll share that with our viewers. I'm not the cook in the family. But that idea of nourishing, right? Of like still feeling like we're learning and going forward. I know as driven entrepreneurs, the three of us want to feel like there's still momentum, even if we're not traveling or getting trainings in. And so I guess for our viewers, I also want to address the brain fog, right? So for folks who can't sit and read a book or don't have a lot of energy, what they can do to disconnect and then reconnect. So I know offline I was talking about having out of office messages and not checking our phones, and some of that's easier said than done. But I think the schedule feature has been my new thing with COVID of like, oh, I have this brilliant idea, I have an email I want to compose, but I'm not sending it on a day off. I'm scheduling it, and that's out of sight, out of mind. Do either of you use that?
Yeah.
I probably need to look into. I need to look into that, because it's like I kind of got to do it. And it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
But it's that internal sense of urgency, which like it's not urgent. It's still going to be there, and it's still going to be here. Nobody's in the office on Friday at 10 o'clock waiting for your message.
Well, and I think because we just have creative ideas at different times, especially as we navigate COVID and the brain fog that people are tracking, maybe we get our best idea at midnight, but we're not going to engage somebody at midnight, right? Like that's part of the disconnect is like, I'll just use the schedule feature. I put it somewhere. I don't have to remember it now for the rest of the weekend on a Friday night, and it's ready to air on Monday morning. So it's definitely something I talked about in a different video of like, I want people to try this out as part of that disconnection, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the other piece is movement, as you've named Liliana with walking. Like that's been a saving grace of like, you don't really have to think. You just kind of move around, take a walk, be outside in nature. We're lucky we live in a beautiful state where that's possible. And so I would hope that people could do that. I guess I want to shift gears slightly and say, what are some strategies that have worked in private practice to actually schedule the time off? Because I know that's our biggest challenge. We don't get paid time off. We set our own schedule. I know all three of us have owned, we're guilty of working on vacations or taking a day off and then finding ourselves still working. So what have you learned as you've built your practices to actually take the time off?
I think,
okay.
You're like, yes, both of us answer.
yeah. A couple of years ago, I introduced the concept of mental health day for my son. He was a teenager having a hard time in high school, and I heard the concept and I thought, let's try it here. But since I noticed that for him did wonders, and I was like, well, can I try it for myself? And I have. So one is for clients, I redirect them to the client portal. Anything you need, go there. In my voicemail on my phone, I have it when I'm available and when they can expect for me to return calls. Mm-hmm. Right? And then on my calendar, I go and block timeframes, like even for lunch. Right? So I'm very now aware of what I need to do so that I am not resentful, so that I'm not exhausted at the end of the day, so that I enjoy what I do. And more importantly, so that I can be present not only for myself, but for clients. So my clients are very familiar with Mental Health Day because there's times where things come up and I will send a text or something. I said, I need a mental health day. So I'm teaching that now to my clients. My clients are really good now about even using that concept as well. But again, because I'm very privileged to use an automatic system, I'm able now to block, to redirect. And then everything now is, I'm only available these days from these times. And this is the time that you should expect to hear back from me. If there's an emergency, these are the numbers that you can reach out. Awesome. So I've been doing that a lot. How about you, Alex?
I think for me, exactly what you're doing. If I'm not available, let my clients know who is available. And I think one of my biggest challenges is kind of like what you said, Khara, is that if I'm not there and something happens, it's still my responsibility. It's still up to me to step in. And so what I've done is I've been able to, as in the agency in my practice, is be able to bring people on board that are competent and that can step up to the plate when I am out. And it has reduced my anxiety significantly. Because as I'm stepping away, you can call, Shelly, you can call Julia, you can call these other clinicians who are competent, who have the ability and the trust that they can manage this. And so work with individuals that can collaborate with you. And it works vice versa. When they're off, they know that they can use me and I can use them. And it alleviated a lot of my stress. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff that I do need to step in. I do need to manage, and I'm always available, but it's absolute last resort. And so, and what does that look like? And I think one of the hard things for me was managing the emotions that do come up, the fear, the stress that comes up. Like, okay, when I've gone on vacation, I shared this with both of you guys. Like, okay, I'm feeling like the minute the plane lands and hits the tarmac of where I need to be, it's like, and kick in the anxiety.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm officially on vacation, and what's going on? Oh, at home, right? And so, I think it's being able to normalize that this is part of being an entrepreneur. This is part of being a business owner, and we have to understand that I use the term distract with fact. You know, here's the emotion that's coming up. Okay, it's just it's distracting me from being present. But what's the fact? The fact is I have competent, trained individuals who can manage that. So I need to remember, bring that back to part of me that you don't need, yes, this is a fear, it's just information. It doesn't need to dominate my behavior, and just be able to breathe and center and realize, you know what, I distract with fact, I have this, fact, I have this, fact, I have that, and be able to regulate and understand this isn't, we don't have the training manual for entrepreneurs in private practice. You know, entrepreneurs, and there's, I've yet to see that book. And so if you guys find it, let me know. You know, there, I haven't read it yet if it's out there, but there's nothing that prepares us for this. And so we have to be mindful it's normal. We're not the only ones, but it does feel like it's us against, you know, the world when it comes to our businesses a lot of times. And it's good to know that there's other clinicians that feel that, but and that we need that. As Liliana said, I also foster that environment at work, take some time off, mental health days, but also be able to exemplify that. You know, there was a situation where I was looking to get a certification, and I realized there was just so many barriers coming up for this specific certification, and I had done so much work, and I was in the company of my other colleagues, other employees, and I finally said, you know what? I'm making a choice right now. I don't want this certification anymore. I don't have the bandwidth and I don't have the energy to do this anymore. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And I'm stepping back. You know, the person's like, you come a long way. And I appreciate that, but I'm stepping back for me. And I think when I did that, after we got off the call, 3 of my employees were like, wow, we've never seen you surrender. Like, and it was so refreshing. I was like, I did. Oh my God, I surrendered.
Good role model.
Yeah, and I realized, and they're like, thank you. And one of them said, I needed to see that because that helped me learn that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no and take a step back. And I was like, there was a part of me that was frustrated, but I needed to honor it. And once I did it, I feel at peace. And I'm like, I needed this. And so that part of mental health is also knowing what can I let go of, surrender, and be okay with stepping back with, so that I can enjoy the present.
Right. Absolutely. No, this all resonates. And I think for those viewers who are like, okay, this sounds wonderful, how do I do this? I think one of the best tools that I found for myself, and maybe this will resonate with both of you, is scheduling it around, like, there's holiday breaks where clients just assume we're not working anyway. So how do we take advantage of that? Or is there a certain day of the week that's just quieter in your schedule that could become that mental health day? Or I had a coach call it a turtle day, where you just like turtle for the whole day. So if you like that better. But I noticed that for myself, like not just holidays, but like holiday weekends, like, do I add some extra time onto that so I can actually have more of a break? And one of our colleagues shared that she schedules Wednesday to Wednesday off when she takes a vacation week. So it's not like a whole week of not being paid or having a disconnect from your clients. Like, that works for her. So I don't know if that works for either of you, but I know it's really a strategy of scheduling it or it doesn't happen.
And I think we go back to, right, like, so if you have an agency, you have revenue coming in per se. But if you're in private practice, the fear is I don't work, I don't get paid. So then how do we do this? And the reality is, this is when we go back and we look, you know, what is it that I can minimize? And what is it that I'm willing to let go? And then what is it that I'm willing to embrace? So there's times that I'm like, okay, so this month, no Starbucks, you know, and or this month, like whatever, so that you don't feel that you're losing. Right? So what are the things that you can do to embrace that? How can you prepare yourself for that time that you deserve? Right? Your body needs to hydrate. Your body needs to rest. Your body needs to be present. Like, there's so many things that go into us. We're not machines. It's not like a car that every 6 months you go and get oiled and then you're ready to go. Right? Or every year you buy new tires. Like, our body requires so much. So that includes taking time off, and that includes preparation. The same way that you prepare to get a certification, you have to prepare for days off. You have to prepare for what your body needs, and it needs sleep. It needs time to be reconnected, right? Not to be on all the time. that's not healthy for anyone.
Right. Right.
Right. And then in private practice, or all of us, we tend to, I love when Alex was talking, because I was like, yes, we have that hero rescue syndrome and we want to be there for everyone. And the reality is that in order for us to do that, which it's not healthy to do, we need to be okay. So I always go back to the metaphor of the oxygen mask on airplanes, right? So I need to be okay in order to be okay for my clients.
Right. Exactly. I love this conversation. I hope our viewers are going to take this and run with it and really just experiment with what works for them to take that time off. Because I know it's really hard to do when we're driven and we don't get that paid time off. And we're just like, how do I justify this and not feel guilty? Alex, to your point. So thank you both for sharing your experiences and what's working and not working. That's what I meant by secret sauce. So hopefully that makes more sense now. And we will see you in future videos, viewers. Alex, Liliana, thank you for being here.